Hey everybody, welcome to the Use PLR Power Hour. This is a time when we can ask questions about PLR, we can ask advice on reputable PLR sellers and what's going on. We can connect with other people who are using PLR, and most importantly, if we don't have anything going on, we can use this time to put our PLR to use and start working on it. So, I'm going to kick off with who I am. I am Rachel Youngson. For those of you who don't know me yet, I run useplr.com, where we teach folks how to use PLR. And I also run Whole Food PLR, where we have health niche PLR, whole food PLR, mainly paleo. I've been doing this for a few years. The Use PLR Power Hour is something new that just came about this summer. We've been having guests who come in and teach us how to use PLR in different ways. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, we will have Kate Rieger from PLR Pump. She's going to be coming and showing us how to use those sales pages that we get with the PLR bundles, as in how to add our email addresses to them, how to upload them to our WordPress sites, how to make them unique to us, all that good stuff. So, does anyone have any questions today? Hey, Carol, I do see your question. Would you mind if I address that openly, or would you rather us have a private conversation? It might take me a few minutes to get to you openly. Okay. Yeah. So Carol asked if I did the PLR Palooza this year, and the answer is yes, I did. Piggy Makes Bank, Tracy Patton Roberts, and Suzanne Myers, they had a huge PLR Palooza special earlier this year, and a lot of folks took advantage of it. They got a lot of different PLR packs, and what we did was we gave some of our personal use PLR trainings to that, and that's led a lot of folks into kind of this Power Hour circle. So. Also, I did get a question earlier today. So just in case anyone found this on Facebook and they're not on our mailing list, if you want to be a part of future Power Hours and you want to be sure that you're notified, you can always go over to useplr.com and pick up any of our free reports, and that will add you to our mailing list. The reports are listed over on the right-hand side. Again, they're all free. Just pick up whichever one you want, and that will automatically add you to our mailing list. Apparently, people share on social media and things like that, which is great, but I got a question earlier today because I guess some folks then don't know how to come back once they're here the first time. They don't know when to come back. So, all right, so does anyone have any questions about their PLR? What it is, how to use it, anyone who's just getting familiar with it? Feel free to either jump in and say in the chat box, or unmute yourself and speak to the camera. Hey, Heather. All right, how long should I spend on PLR to make it unique and still be productive? This is a great question, Heather. So in the beginning, as in when I first use a piece of PLR, then it's going to take me longer. It's going to take me, it could take me like 3 hours. And the reason is because I am making sure that I have the disclaimer. I'm making sure that I have the right heading and footer. I have a whole resources page that goes after any PLR reports that I create. I need to make sure that the introduction is correct, for me, and all that good stuff. So that's what I do typically. But the thing of it is, once you do it once, then you have a template for every other time. So yes, even though the products that you make are going to be different, the introduction to your report can always be the same, because you're basically saying, hi, I'm Heather, this is my website, this is what I do. The resources, you'll already have that page formatted, so you can leave the resources that are going to that are relevant in there, and you can just edit and add the ones that are new resources or that have changed. Okay. Hey, Doug, I do see your question. I'm just going to wrap up with Heather real quick. Heather, are you giving your reader the source or keeping them for backup? Oh, you mean the PLR source? Oh, the extra research. No. Typically, any research that I do is, and please, if I'm not answering this correctly, please let me know. But if I'm understanding you correctly, any extra research that I do, like that goes beyond the PLR, first of all, typically I'll make sure everything in the PLR is correct to begin with. But anything I add to that, any extra research I do, I don't usually give them a source unless it's specific to one person. So, for instance, a lot of people, if you Google how to lose weight, you'll get a lot of websites to talk about, how you have a certain amount of calories that you eat in a day, and if you eat less than that amount of calories, then you lose weight. But if one person, if I coined that and that was my thing, then it would be nice of whoever was citing that to say, hey, this person said that. But like the sky is blue, like everybody knows that. That's more of a common knowledge thing. Okay, great. Okay, Douglas. Is it Doug or Douglas?
I can go either way on that.
Okay, sounds good. I always like to be sure because I don't want to offend anyone. All right, so yeah, the generic high level nature of PLR will detract from authenticity. Yeah, that is a concern that a lot of people have. There's a few ways around that though, and the first is making sure that your PLR is unique to you. So you can do things such as examples, life stories. I would add images, always add my own images and add kind of my own flavor. Even if the report cover is a good cover, I would create a different cover. This is just me. I would change the title. I would add a footer. All these things go into making that generic piece something that's not so generic. And of course, we'll do like a table of contents and a resource page and a conclusion and an introduction. Also, I would flip it into different types of content too. So for instance, if you have a report, let's say I buy a PLR report, I can make that report into how-to videos and checklists. And now I've got a report, videos, and checklists that I can sell as my own product. Or I could take it one step further, and if I was really adventurous, I could sell these three things as a combined product, and I could also say, hey, join me for a webinar class 2 or 3 times, over the next month, and that would then increase the value of the product even more. But also, another consideration is who you are getting your PLR from. So there are, of course, a lot of people out there who do PLR and it's either not good or they're not responsive or they just they have horrible stuff. It's hard to read. So you always want to be sure that you get your PLR from a quality seller. And if you ever have any questions on, hey, do you know who this person is? Feel free to shoot me an email at rachel@useplr.com, and I'll be more than happy to let you know if I've ever worked with that person or if I know that person or if I can verify their work. Also, if they have any free gifts on their site, go to that site and get those free gifts and then try to ask them a question and see what the response time is and also gauge what their actual writing is like. That may have been a little too detailed, but did that kind of cover everything, Douglas?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, I am trying to set myself up to be a relatively high ticket offering, and I figured some of the PLR stuff would make for good giveaways or come to the site. And if you don't, I don't want to spend a bunch of time creating um, entry level stuff.
Yeah, I
They
totally
can have
understand.
for free, but it would be, so it's worth, to me, have a couple $100 investment to get some of that up there. But even the better stuff tends to be kind of more entry level than entry level, and I'm concerned that um, if I make it mine, that reflects on me. If I don't make it mine, then that reflects on me too. So
Yeah, I completely understand that concern. Um, if you don't mind me asking, what's your general niche? Is it IM or health or weight loss or
no, so I do business consulting,
okay, great.
and the general niche is how to implement change programs in organizations that have had difficulty doing that. So
Mm,
resistant, reluctant, whatever word you want. Um, so there's a lot of stuff out there about collaboration and those kind of things, and empowering teams and all that. But I guess I look at them as they're great topic starters. You look at them and go, okay, there's 20 things I could make an article out of, but I'm not sure I would want to release the article itself without. Um, it's kind of like, well, that's pretty entry level. Here is, and I don't want that to reflect on the end, um, the main offer.
I understand that. So when you're looking at your PLR packages, are you looking at things that are these full funnel packages, like the ones that offer the sales page and the report and the ebook and maybe videos and things like that? Or are you just looking at little packages of maybe an article and a report? And
All the above. It depends what comes across my screen, right?
okay,
So
so
I have got a couple of full service one, like Kim Clausen stuff I've got, which is a whole different program from just here's a 4-page report I wrote, and then there's a lot of the 4-page report kind of things too.
okay, so I would, as a PLR seller, I know that we try to make our PLR like a baseline
Hmm.
because that doesn't just allow us to get it out quickly, but that also gives our buyers the ability to make it their own. Um, so for your concern, what I would do is I would specifically look for a full funnel of PLR. And that way, even if it is generic, when you start adding your tweaks and your things to it, you can get a lot more accomplished without having to waste a lot of time or a lot of money pulling different resources together. I'd also think about what kind of upsells you were going to do for your package. Have you been thinking about that? Like, are you doing like a low level, maybe a report with for $7 and then an upsell for like maybe personal consulting for $97 or
Yeah, that's where I want them to go eventually, is get into like the laser consulting or something like that. Um, I have a couple of books out already that are kind of sort of the entry level thing. But I
mm,
figured PLRs would be good either, like you say, to do a funnel process and take them through a webinar, et cetera, for something I don't, regularly do on a regular basis, or just to have them up there as stuff, the gimmies. Because the problem with the funnels is you got to have 8 or 10 decent products to put in your funnel to make one work.
right, yeah, and that's why these huge PLR funnels are so nice, especially if they're all from the same person, then they tend to be written in the same tone. So you kind of know what your baseline is going to be across all of these different PLR items, and also you can reformat them to make them much more valuable. You can do your own how-to videos for that ebook that they just purchased, and that's that's adding a tremendous amount of value to the course, and that would be a great upsell. I know this may not be the direction you're going, but just as an example, that would be a great upsell, and people would jump at it, but you're still using that same PLR pack for that.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I hadn't thought about it as a route to an upsell. That, hey, look, here's the basic stuff for the folks that are just getting started, and then we can, go from there. I like that idea. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Let's see, Carol. Hey, Carol, would you mind if I read this? Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. The most effective places to sell completed PLR items. So I assume you're brand new to selling PLR. Would that be right, Carol? And you can either feel free to use the chat box, or you can feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, so in the beginning, and Douglas, I'm going to go ahead and mute you back up. So Carol, in the beginning, when you first start out, okay, well, let me go like this. So what I have on my Whole Food PLR store is I have a shopping cart, I have the website, I have free resources, and I have packs. But it takes, if you're starting out, it takes time and energy and effort to work up to that. So in the very beginning, what I recommend that people do is just get your website specific to whatever niche of PLR that you're going to write. Some folks have like a one-size-fits-all PLR website. I personally I never got as much traction with that as I did when I laser focused and said, okay, I'm selling paleo PLR, I'm selling whole food PLR. And then once I drilled it down to that whole food niche, then I got more traction. So I would figure out what you want to, what your niche is going to be, like drilled down niche, not like video games, like RPG games type of thing. Then I would get a website domain and a WordPress. And instead of worrying about a shopping cart, I would go through JVZoo. And in the beginning, I would have all of my buy buttons as JVZoo buttons, because that way you don't have a shopping cart to worry about yourself. That way you also have the ability to have a powerhouse like JVZoo behind you. So when you go and send your review copies, which you'll want to send full review copies to different PLR sellers in the same niche, then even if like they've never worked with you, if they like your review copy and they see that you're working with JVZoo, like you're on JVZoo, then they have a little bit more trust in you than if you were someone that they didn't know and you had the shopping cart that they didn't really trust, and they're not sure how responsive you're going to be. JVZoo kind of takes care of a lot of those issues for them. The problem is, over time, you're going to want to make sure that you get your own shopping cart. And the reason is because JVZoo, as great as it is, especially for folks starting out, and especially for people to have like these big launches, it also isn't your own. Like you want your products and the shopping experience to be your own as much as possible. And JVZoo could shut down one day. They can, if they have hiccups, then you are affected by that. So ultimately, you want your own shopping cart. Now, once you get your first pack done, your first PLR piece done, like I said, you'll find other PLR sellers in your niche, and you will send them a full review copy of that PLR pack. Did that kind of answer everything for you, Carol? Sure, sure. And if you have any questions on selling PLR, feel free to shoot me an email offline as you go through this process. And also, if you want to send me a review copy of the first pack you create, and you want to say, hey, so this is my niche, this is my style of writing. Do you know who I might want to connect with? Let me know. Shoot me an email at rachel@useplr.com, and we can go from there. Okay, Douglas, you were going to get one of the. Sure, Carol, no problem. All right, one of our packs mentioned on the, oh, great, thanks, Douglas. Yeah, so all of our PLR packs are over at wholefoodplr.com, and there are, for the consulting niche, Sharon Sheldon might be another good person to hook up with. Ruth Pound from Content Shortcuts. And Piggy Makes Bank, they do business PLR. They do like a mini monthly membership of business PLR, which is basically mini business packs so that you can use them for emails or just to kind of keep your customers engaged month to month. But yeah, and if you have any questions on any of those PLR packs that you're thinking of purchasing, Douglas, feel free to let me know. So does anybody else have any questions today? Hey, Sandra, good to see you. Hi, Tracy. Is anyone looking for PLR in any specific? Oh, hey, Sandra. I completely understand. All right, Sandra. So I'm going to give you some links here. These are free resources, so feel free to use them as you see fit. The first is our What is PLR blog post. It's basically going to go into what PLR is and how you use PLR. And then the second is a report on using free PLR to grow your business. And the reason that I'm recommending that as the second thing to take a look at is because it's a great way to figure out more about a PLR seller without actually having to spend any of your money on them. It's a great way to start getting profit from your PLR before having to spend money on your PLR and all that kind of stuff. So those are just a few of the resources. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email at rachel@useplr.com. Okay, Heather, how long do I do these meetings? Oh, hey, no worries, no worries. So typically we try to meet every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Our meeting location is just rachelonzoom.com. You don't have to register beforehand. We also typically try to have recordings every week unless I get technology challenged, and you'll get the replay in your emails. If you are not on the Use PLR email list, the best way to get notified of this is to be sure that you are on the Use PLR or Whole Food PLR email list. So I would go over to useplr.com, pick up any of the free reports, and that will automatically add you to our email list. And of course, if you know that you're already a Whole Food PLR member, then you'll be getting these emails as well. But yeah, typically we do these, like, we try to do these every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Sure, Sandra, no problem. And I do apologize for the rumbling if you can hear it. Hopefully you can't. It's we are having our first dry day in like 4 days, so a lot of my neighbors are out doing their lawn maintenance. Okay, so does anyone have any other questions, or would anyone like to talk about how they're using their PLR, or ask about maybe you're in a certain PLR niche or a certain niche and you want to find PLR related to that niche, or maybe questions on tools or how to do anything specific with PLR? Ah, thanks, Heather. Good, good. Good to know. So here's a question. Have you guys uh, been working on your PLR, or do you have PLR on your hard drive that you want to that you're just really frustrated over? Maybe you just kind of want to get it off of your hard drive and get it into action. Carol, yes, please come back with more questions. And if you have questions while you're in the process of making your pack, remember you can always get in touch with me directly, and we can talk about it more. And also, I think it's worth mentioning, we do have a few folks who are in other countries. So like sometimes we'll be doing these and it will be dinner for someone or something like that. So if anyone isn't able to attend the meetings because of that, feel free to always reach out to me directly. I may opt to share your questions with the group during our meeting, but I'll also answer you privately. So, I mean, please don't ever inconvenience your life to attend this, because you can reach out to me anytime you need to. Yeah, Carol says she has lots of PLR on her hard drive. Must get products developed. Yes, a lot of folks feel that way. So I was actually in that place too. Was it early? I want to say it was at the beginning of this year. I have a business coach that I had started working with earlier this year. And one of the first things that I did was I took all my PLR and I made different folders as far as what niche each PLR was in. So like self-help, health, blah, blah, blah. And then I made myself a schedule so that I could use all the related PLR to get like as one release after the other, after the other, after the other, to kind of keep things going. And that for me really, really helped. And I also, I know I keep saying this, and I've said it 100 times on if you guys follow my emails, but I also, I just got myself a cutest little panda planner. I'm not affiliated with them, but I just love talking about it because it's like totally reorganized the way that I look at things, and that helps me to keep track of my weekly or I'm sorry, my releases at a month glance. And it also helps me to drill down into my daily and weekly tasks. So I can just look at what PLR pack I want to release that month, write it down on the planner, and then I can go in and drill that down to, okay, well, this is the week I want to release it. Okay, this is the day that I want to release it. These are the tasks that I need to do leading up to that day. So, food PLR. Okay, that was Trish Lindemood. Um, she runs kitchenbloggers.com. I I do believe her special for us is still up. I'll check on that before we end today. The videos, okay, I would always recommend storing your videos on Amazon S3. It took me a long time to figure out that's important, but it is. The only thing with Amazon S3 is, for me, I feel like it's super confusing. It's really affordable, but it's super confusing, and my tech person actually has to figure everything out for me. Like when you go into the S3, there's like buckets, and you create your bucket name, and then you upload your file, and then you set the privacy settings, so you make sure that everybody else can see it, and then only people with that specific S3 link can see it. So I recommend S3. There's, I believe there's some PLR on Amazon using Amazon S3 if you have any detailed questions. But yeah, I am horrible with actually managing it. I just know that that's where you go to store things securely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure, Douglas. And like I said, I'm going to have to pull up that link for Trish. So I'll get on that as soon as I finish answering questions to make sure that you have that before we leave today. Heather Gale. Okay. Heather, I'm going to recommend that you talk to Trish Lindemood from Kitchen Bloggers, because she is the one who releases Food PLR and she does recipe images every month, and she would know much more about it than I do. The images that we use over Whole Food PLR, we don't do recipes. We just talk about the whole food lifestyle and different ways to make the lifestyle work for you. So because of that, we tend to use royalty-free stock photos versus taking them on our own. But I do know Trish does her own. So that's Trish Lindemood, kitchenbloggers.com. She also has a Kitchen Bloggers Facebook group. And I believe it's a closed group, but if you let her know that you learned from her through Rachel Youngson, she will definitely let you in. A Panda planner. Oh my gosh, I wish I had it with me. It's upstairs in my office. I can't hobble up there fast enough to get it, but it's basically it's an organizer. Let me grab a link off of Amazon, and I can share that with you. I use organizers, but I hate organizers. So I try to use them, but I always wind up not using them anymore after a few weeks. And this little guy is something that I got from my sister. Well, she gave me a gift card, and then I used it for him, and I love it. So basically, it's a planner, but it's done a little bit differently than most planners. And it's every morning you have a morning review, and the evening after you wrap up work, you have an evening review, and those two things help you to kind of figure out what you've accomplished and what you haven't accomplished. Every morning during your morning review, you talk about what you're grateful for, you talk about what your goals are and what you want to accomplish. And then it also has a monthly calendar, as well as a weekly breakdown and a daily breakdown. So it really helps you to stay super on top of your stuff. And if you're not if you're like me and I personally have a hard time juggling one main calendar for everything. I need that drilled down effect. Then it really helps with that too, because I can go into my daily and then I can go over to my weekly and I can kind of rearrange things and look at things and figure out how things are going. And it helps me to be accountable too, which to me is really important, because I find that with other methods that I've used in the past to kind of keep myself on track, I'll have the intention to do it and it will be on my calendar. But then if I miss it, then um, I'm just like, oh, I'll do it again the next day. I don't really have that sit down at the end of the day and, take your lumps kind of thing for not getting it done. So I really like them. It's really worked for me. If you're interested in getting one, I was given a coupon code to share when I got mine. So feel free to reach out to me on the Use PLR Facebook page or reply to one of my Use PLR emails, and I'll get that over to you. Let's see. Yeah, no, Carol, you're not the only one confused by S3. Definitely not. I think that, like I said, if anyone is brand new to S3 and needs help, I believe that I have some S3 PLR recommendations, but I am not the girl for S3. I would highly recommend you pay somebody the $50 or whatever to get a tech for a couple of hours and have them write down the steps for you, and then you can do it on your own from that point on. Sure, Heather, no problem, no problem. And I will go ahead and we will get that information for Trish. Some of you may remember Trish from a couple of weeks ago. She talked to us about using PLR to grow your food blog. And she's the owner, like I said, of Kitchen Bloggers, and she's just really great. She does her monthly bite-sized bundle program and some other things. All right, so here is the link for the Kitchen Bloggers main store.
Cool link.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty link. That's how I cloak my links. And I'll go over that with you in just a sec too, if you'd like. It's a free tool, so that makes it awesome. And Trish released a personal use product, which is not PLR, but is a training product on growing your food blog into a business. And that's the link for that. And then she has her bite-sized bundles, which we have a discount for. I think you can get it for under $10. So let me get that for you as well. But yeah, that will give you everything you need to familiarize yourself with who Trish is and what she does and all that cool stuff. So we have a special coupon for those bite-sized bundles, Rachel 10, that will reduce your price the first month. And then, of course, you can see where you are and if you like it. A lot of my folks who get into Trish stay with her for the long term because she just puts out really great stuff. So as far as my links, those are pretty links. So if you have a WordPress blog, you can go into your plugins and search for the Pretty Links plugin. And then that will allow you to create these redirects really simply and easily for whatever you're an affiliate for. And since we have a few minutes still, I will go ahead and share my screen actually. And let's see if, let me see if I can share that with you guys. Okay. Would somebody mind letting me know? Can you see my screen right now? Can you see my my website?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so when one of the best pieces of advice that I got was to make my own link or get my own website just for the pretty links. You don't have to do it that way. Folks do it all different kinds of ways. So if you chose to go my route, I paid like, I don't know, $5, $9 for this website. The only thing I have here is this Pretty Links plugin. And so you'll see up at the top, the website is called racheladmires.me. And all I'll do is I'll log in. I'll go into this Pretty Links. Let me move this. Add new link. And then I put a target URL here. I put my, what I want the end of the URL to be here, and then my title here. And as you can see with my titles, I have a certain naming conventions that I follow for my titles, so that if I search for something, then I can find it easily. So for instance, if something is PLR, then I always start it with PLR. Then I go to the seller, the shopping cart of the seller. So like maybe they're a member, like Alice Silva is a member, and then I'll list the website name, and then I'll list the actual product itself. And I do it that way because Pretty Links is really great at their search engines, or I'm sorry, at their searches. So if I like as you can probably see, so like when I look for Trisha's stuff, I'll just put in Bite if I want information about her bite-sized bundle program, and then it'll pull it really quickly, even if it's part of a bigger word. So of course it doesn't work if my internet is grumpy, but great. So are you guys still with me? All right, guys. Sorry about that. Fun little hiccup there. So anyway, this is Pretty Links. So if I go to search for something by the name, I can quickly do that, even if I have it mixed in with another name. So for instance,
You're not sharing anymore, Rachel?
I'm sorry?
You're not sharing anymore when you came back?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry for those of you who may have tried to put that in the chat screen. I can only see like what I'm sharing, and I can't see it all as one big thing. So anyway, so I put in the search term just bite, and I was able to catch this bite-sized bundles from Trish. So that's a great feature of Pretty Links because you don't have to be exact, which saves you a lot of time, especially when you've got like all of these people that you've created links for. You can also see the click information. If you want to, you can upgrade to Pretty Links Pro. I've never used that. I mean, I've been using this for 2 years at least without paying for it, and I love it. It's like my favorite tool. Again, though, if you don't want to spend money and get a customized site, you don't have to. Just use your current WordPress site, add the plugin, and go from there. I did drop, yes. That's the only bad thing about days that I'm not able to be in my office, is that my internet just gets kind of cranky with me sometimes. So we have about 10 minutes left. Does anyone need those links again for Trish, or do you need a pre-links link, or anybody need anything specific? And again, feel free to either type in the chat box, or You can also unmute yourself if you want to. Okay, great. Seems like everyone is in a good place, which is great. So before we wrap today, I just wanted to go over a few announcements with you guys. First of all, I'm sorry I don't have the exact date in front of me, but we will be having Kate Rieger from PLR Pump join us in the next couple of weeks. She's going to show us what to do with those PLR sales pages that we get, as far as attaching them to our email, uploading them to WordPress, making them unique to us. I'm really excited about this. Kate's super smart at this stuff, and Douglas, this might actually be a real good one for you too, since you're working with, since we were talking about doing those bigger funnels so that you can get your high ticket priced item out quicker. Kate is really great with those sales pages, and since so many of those funnels come with sales pages, it's really important that we know what to do with them once we have them. What else do we have going on? We are getting ready to release Paleo Instant Pot over at Whole Food PLR. That is tentatively scheduled for this Friday. And that's pretty much it. We will be meeting again next week at 1 o'clock Eastern. If you are not part of the Use PLR community, please, and you want to be notified of these webinars, please head on over to useplr.com and grab yourself a free report, and that will put you on our mailing list. Does anyone have any last minute questions or concerns before we wrap? All right, sounds great. So since my connection is being a little cranky, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a break today, and we'll go ahead and wrap a little bit early. But remember, if you guys ever have any questions before we or between these calls, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available. We also have a Use PLR Facebook page, and if you ever want to get in touch with myself or anyone else on there, feel free to do so. Thanks, Carol. I appreciate it. Anyone else have anything they want to say before we go? Did anybody find this helpful, not helpful? Oh, sure, Heather. Okay, great. So I will see you guys next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Thank you, Douglas. I appreciated talking with you. I appreciated talking with you too, Carol. It's great to get some time with folks, different folks on my list, and get to interact with people one-on-one. But we'll be here, rachelonzoom.com, next Tuesday, 1 o'clock Eastern. All right, guys, have a great week. Use your PLR. If you have any questions, let me know.